Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in between, Jason, welcome back. Welcome back to one of these discussion, I show you 3 decks I'm excited for kind of videos. So I'm doing another one of these. Last week, if you didn't see, I did a video where I talked about 3 Genesis decks I'm excited for post Chaos Origins. And that video, while no one explicitly said you wanted to see more of these, it got enough views where I figured I should do one for Advanced. So I went ahead and picked 3 Advanced format decks that I think are pretty cool, that I'm definitely going to be giving a try in the future. And I want to show you what I'm currently working with. As I'm recording, Chaos Origins is in pre-release. So if you go to an OTS, you'd actually be able to pick up boxes now. When this video actually releases, it should be the official release date. So this will all be legal on like Omega, Dueling Nexus, Dueling Book ladders. So anyway, so today the 3 decks I want to talk about are as follows. I've got Blitzclick, the new Light and Darkness Chaos deck, and an updated Clown Crew deck. While Clowns did only get 1 new card, you can kind of tell from the name that they have some interesting play with another one of our decks. But before I spend way too long talking about the Light and Darkness Chaos decks, we should start with Blitzclick. So this is Blitzclick. If you do not know what the main idea with Blitzclick is, it's a deck that looks to destroy cards on the field to then trigger effects. For instance, if Surge Blitzclick sees a card get destroyed while she's on field, she's able to search any of our other Blitzclick monsters. If Drain Blitzclick sees a card gets destroyed, he can add a spell or our field spell. So all these cards kind of come together and make this control strategy, where you're also able to play on the opponent's turn with cards like Crackle Blitzclick, which can, when the opponent activates a monster effect, it can destroy the monster to activate this effect, summon any Thunder monster from hand, and then if Crackle is the card summoned, it can send a Blitz spell trap from deck to grave. You have cards like Whisker Blitzclick, where if he sees a card get destroyed by a Blitzclick effect, he can summon himself and other Thunder monsters you have in hand, and then optionally destroy that many cards on the field. So we have all these guys that are able to play on the opponent's turn, get you into cards like Thunder King Ryo on turn 0 to really control the game. So to kind of lean into that, I threw this deck together with cards like Perulia for when we go second. I want to go first with this version of the deck, but you can lean harder into going second. So we're playing cards like Perulia, we're playing Fidral's Harmonia. Unfortunately, every deck I'm showing you today, by the way, is going to be a Harmonia deck. I'm sorry, this card is just absolutely insane. And we also have what's going to be kind of a sleeper hand trap for the upcoming format, Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Pretty decent here against Blitz, but it's actually really powerful against the Light and Darkness Ritual deck. Now, as opposed to the OCG, we're not going to be getting the new Thunder Rhoda card. I'm not sure which set it's releasing it, but it literally just searches any Thunder. We're not getting that yet. I don't think it's even been announced for any of our upcoming sets. So to lean into more consistency, we're playing both Pot of Prosperity and Pot of Extravagance, which means our extra deck kind of gets a little which is fine. I should mention the thing that quote-unquote limits the Blitzclick deck is that they lock you into only being able to special summon from the hand for the rest of the turn. So while there are versions of the deck, like there's a Ryziel version that seems pretty decent, that deck aims to do all your Ryziel plays first before activating any Blitzclick cards. Anyway, since we're playing Pot of Extravagance, like I was trying to say a second ago before I got myself off track, our extra deck has to be a little, seeing multiple copies of the same cards to make sure all our things are online, like playing extra copies of our Harmonia targets to make sure we don't run out of them, doubling up on our Fallen the Virtuous targets, because this card's really good in this deck, so we definitely want to have it online. But there's some other fun stuff we threw in the extra deck. We can actually make Cool Tomb back-to-back with a Fidral's Harmonia on a turn where we're not already locked by the Blitzclicks. That then turns on being able to quick summon into something like Omega or the Dragon Mechs on the opponent's turn. We can also maybe make Changing. Most of the time, if I'm activating Pot of Prosperity, these cards are usually the ones that are going to go. Omega is also another Harmonia target. And then I'll say this now, the side decks, I'm not really sold on any of the side decks I've thrown together today, mostly because the side decks really don't come together until you actually start getting into real games for the format. But I put cards in that I think work really well. Fulos, we're going second. Lava Golem's pretty interesting, a card that's pretty popular in the Blind second version is this Pot of Sloth, this brand new card coming out in Chaos Origins. It's kind of like a mulligan card, letting you draw a bunch of cards, put some of them back when you're just shaping your hand to be much better. I think it's pretty interesting, which is why I've included it so far. And the other card I want to talk about here is Superconductive Plasma Blast. This card isn't great, but it's really interesting for how it works with the Blitz. So this is also coming out in Chaos Origins, and it's both Blitz support and is also kind of Magnet Warrior support, which I think is pretty cool. And Magnet Warrior being another deck I absolutely love. Activate this effect depending on whose turn it is. Yours, place one Thunder or Rock monster in your deck on top of the deck. Then, if a Thunder or Rock monster is in your field or graveyard, you can destroy one card in the field. Or if it's on the opponent's turn, we can add a Thunder or Rock monster from our field, graveyard, or banish into the hand. Or if a monster was destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, you can add from your deck instead. This is also really interesting because the Blitz Click Quick Play spell also has an effect to return a Thunder monster you control to the hand, because that triggers the effect of any Blitz Click. She's basically like a Poplar. When she's added from anywhere to the hand, she can reveal herself, target a card in the field, destroy it, and then special a Thunder. So part of the control loop of Blitzclick is looping Emmy multiple times. Of course, also bouncing cards means you can bounce a Whisker back to the hand. But yeah, I think Blitzclick is really interesting. I was considering playing this for Genesis format, back when I made the Genesis video last week, but the deck didn't feel great with the way the points worked out. As of right now, I think it needs the help of power cards like of Harmonia and the pod cards to really shine in the current format. Maybe in the future, as things kind of settle, we can get a better Genesis version of the deck, but as of right now, I'm gonna say I prefer playing this in advance. All right, next up, we have the Chaos Ritual deck. So this is the branded version of the deck. I know a lot of people probably don't want to play the branded cards, mostly because you can see right there that price point. These cards are already pre-selling for a lot of money, and then adding both All Another White Dragon and Vidralis Harmonia is just putting the price of this deck over the edge. Like, listen, thank God Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega is free, so I can still play with the deck I think is really cool. Anyway, so because we're on the branded version of the deck, we're kitted out with our extra deck having a bunch of synchros that we can actually make in addition to our Vidralis Harmonia targets. Specifically, this version of the deck is playing the OG Albaz, because we are looking to, while doing the control strategy of the Ritual of Light and Darkness, we're also using the Albaz cards as a secondary control engine, being able to both start us by getting us into the Crimson King or the 3 Champions of Swordsoul, which also adds Fire the Primordial Goddess to our control. But yeah, I don't really have too many deep thoughts about the way the deck functions. This is a deck that you really have to see in action to really get. As a lot of people have been talking about online, the end boards for this deck do not look imposing at all. Frankly, a lot of the time it'll just be a copy of Mind Shuffle with a 1 ritual monster on field, and then we pass. Yet stealthily, that is a board of multiple pieces of interaction. To go over more of what sets this version apart from other more pure versions of the deck, we are playing the Soul Resonator. This is because if we make the Crimson King with Albaz, we can get the Soul Resonator, normal Soul Resonator, that adds us Griffo, and Griffo is full combo. While doing some preliminary testing, I did find I was drawing the Mind Shuffle way too much, which is specifically why this version of the deck is playing 2 of them. We don't have a lot of great ways of putting this back into deck for the Griffo or Black Chaos. Yeah, Black Chaos can set it from grave, but then we also have to open a way to get it there. As a big Celtic Guardian fan, I think it's a lot of fun being able to just summon this guy either on our turn to fix our hand or on the opponent's turn to just draw us into our hand traps. But yeah, if I'm a betting man, I would assume the average of all average Chaos Ritual decks is probably going to look something like this. Maybe not playing Super Poly and playing other hand traps instead. I don't know. I wanted to keep the Brandon engine a little smaller. At first, I was trying to get away with not playing it at all, but it really is necessary for consistency. In the future, when this is officially legal, I am going to be playing the heck out of Chaos Ritual. I really like it. But the version I'm probably going to be playing the most is our last and final deck. This is Clown Crew Chaos Ritual. Now, in the actual Chaos Origin set, the only new Clown card is this card, Clown Crew Dristy. For the OCG, they already had the Clown Crew Pendulum monster at this time, but because that is a manga promo, we are not getting that for a very long time, which is why in this version of the deck, I have cut Clown Crew New Face completely. We're just going to be playing too many trap cards to make it worth our while. So adding in the Chaos Ritual cards to this deck, we're able to draw so much, so often with Matinee in this version of the deck, tributing for the ritual summons. We're constantly getting things into rotation. The new Clown Crew Juristy, her effect to reshuffle our entire hand is really sick. If we only open Clown Crew cards, we can summon her, tribute her off, shuffle our entire hand, possibly draw into any of our one-card combos for Chaos Ritual, and then Bianca Viso can draw us 2 extra cards. Frankly, I think this deck is really, really cool. There's a lot of crossover between the previous decks I've already shown you today. You know, Bedrals, it's back again. Magnamut, back again. The Ragged Records of Rights, another card coming out in Chaos Origins. I didn't even mention this in the last deck we were looking at, but this card is absolutely crazy. It is just another Rhoda for any monster, as long as you have a ritual spell that monster mentions, which is crazy. I should also mention, with the way Mind Shuffle works, this effect here, when your opponent activates a card effect, you can return 1 level 7 or higher monster you control to the hand, especially when a monster different name from your hand that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness. That means we can just bounce our Bianca Viso, the special one of our Chaos Ritual guys here. You know, putting Bianca Viso back in hand means if we didn't add him off of Soiree and we have Soiree in rotation, we can banish Soiree to then tribute Bianca Viso to get more draws or the negates, which there's just so many little synergies in this version of the deck that I think is so cool that I cannot wait for this weekend, because I'm going to be streaming this deck. I'm going to be streaming myself playing this deck on ladder. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Another thing actually I'd like to point out before I wrap up this video, I've already been yapping for 30 minutes, and I know there's a lot of that getting cut. Because we don't have New Face, the Skull Archfiend Chaos's effect to shuffle any 3 cards, including a card that mentions Ritual of Light and Darkness, this is our main way of recycling now, but it's recycling and also summoning us a body that could be tributed later. I just think that's such a neat thing that it can just shuffle back anything. It's just so cool. I also really love, hold on, I'm talking more about this deck. That Chaos Magical Hats, people are kind of on Chaos Magical Hats. I think it's really sick. It is really good in this version of the deck, because not only does it replace the opponent's effect with the destroy one monster your opponent controls based on defense position, but it is putting more bodies on board that can be tributed later. Oh, it's so great. It's so great. I genuinely am in love with this version of the deck. I just love it so much. To talk a little about the side deck, this is just a standard clown side deck. 3 Fua, usually it's 3 Puruli on the side, but like I said before, we're kind of siding for the Chaos Ritual and Blitzclick, so we're playing the Purulias in the main deck. 3 Wing Dragon Raw Sphere mode. If you don't know at this point, you can just quick tribute summon this on the opponent's turn with your Bianca Viso. It's kind of crazy. This version is on Super Poly, so we have Sea Monster, Theseus, and Mud Dragon, along with Diabolo being another Super Poly target. Or you could probably fit Garura in here somewhere. I'm not sure yet. Like I said, this isn't the final version of the deck. I'm going to be making changes in the future as I, get to try it more in a ranked ladder environment. And then Forbidden Crown and Solemn Accusation. These aren't mandatory. There should be some kind of settable card for when you're going first. So whether it's Accusation, Strike, or Judgment, any of the Solemns kind of do well. Accusation, I think, is just really, really powerful, especially into the upcoming meta. I think it's really great for hitting, Cool Toon's still around, Branded is back and bigger than ever, same with Draco Tail, and I also think it's going to be pretty great into the Ritual of Light and Darkness deck. But yeah, so these are 3 decks I'm really looking forward to be playing in the upcoming Chaos Origins format. Again, I said in the last video, if you like these kinds of videos, let me know in the comments, or you could just subscribe to the channel or like the video. Those are the other ways I know that you actually want to see this kind of content. YouTube does tell you when a video gains you subscribers. So the best way to tell me that you want to see more of these is, again, like the video, subscribe to the channel, or tell me directly with a comment. If you never want to see these videos again, you can also tell me that too. I'm going to catch you guys later. Thanks again for watching. Goodbye.